Okay, we are going to continue adding data to our Google My Map on plate tectonics, adding more and more evidence for plate tectonics as we go. Now, we already started this back in Unit 12A, where we created a map to show where volcanoes and ocean features like the trenches and mid-ocean ridges were on the map. So if you haven't done those assignments, this assignment is building on those assignments, and you'll need to have those two map assignments finished first before answering the questions that are at the end of this document, at the end of this assignment. Okay, so let's first open up the instructions for the Google Map making and look at these. Now, of course, if you've already gotten to the point where you're watching this video, you can skip step one, which is log into the computer and open the assignment. Let's start here on step two. First, we need to find our previous map. And of course, if you haven't done that assignment yet, you won't have one. You need to go back and do those two assignments before completing this one. So let's follow the link to Google My Maps. Once that opens, we'll click Get Started. And your Google Map that you started should be in this folder. Of course, I've got a bunch more because I've worked on a few things. You should just have one that's titled Evidence for Plate Tectonics. Okay, I'm going to open the key that I have real quick, and I'm going to show you what you should have done for the previous map. You should just have your volcanoes mapped, your trenches named and mapped, and the mid-ocean ridges. Okay, so this is your map as it stands right now. You can see if I turn off the volcanoes, we've got all of the ocean floor features mapped. You should have something that looks very similar to this when you finished up those previous maps. And then, of course, we've got the volcanoes on top of that as well. So you need to open that map, which should look like this. I'm going to actually get my newer one open here that is at the same point that you have. Okay. I'm going to close the key here because I don't want to look at that anymore. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is uncheck all of the existing layers. So we're just going to check off these so it turns off all our different layers. So we just have a blank map now. Okay, once we've done that, we're ready to create a new layer. So you click Add Layer. And I want you to title this new layer. So we're going to edit the name. So click on it and edit layer name. And we're going to title this Earthquakes. Okay, Earthquakes. All right, so we need to click back to our Google Doc instructions one more time. So we've got step 3 and step 4 done. Now we need to get our data on our earthquakes. Now I created this data sheet to show the last 2,000 earthquakes from the day I collected this data from the USGS earthquake data sheets. They keep track of all earthquakes all over the world, and you can download it in a bunch of different formats. But what I did was download the last 2,000 earthquakes. Okay, so you need to make a copy of this data sheet. Okay, so we're going to click on where it says earthquakes, and you're going to open last 2,000 earthquakes. Now for you, this will be view only. You cannot edit this Google Sheet. So you need to click File and make a copy. It will create a document titled Copy of Last 2,000 Earthquakes as of July 13th. It will default for you to put it in just your My Drive. Okay, so it should default to My Drive. If not, remember where it is saved in case you need to go back to it. And then click OK. It should open in a new window, but you're actually okay to close it. All right. Okay, once you've made your copy of the data sheet, you're going to go back to your map. With the earthquake layer active, click on Import. And we are going to click from Google Drive. But no, I'm sorry. We're going to click Recent. All right, so we're going to click Recent in My Drive, and there it is. Our last opened Google Sheet should be your copy of last 2000 earthquakes. Mine isn't that because I didn't finish the copy, but yours should say copy of last 2000 earthquakes. Okay, click it, only it, and then hit select. Okay, use time as the title. Okay, sorry, I skipped a step. Select latitude and longitude. Make sure those are the correct ones. Clicked, checked. Click continue. And let's just use time as the title to organize this. Okay, and then click finish. Okay, it may take it a second to populate this data into the map because it is a lot of data. There we go. All right, now this is a lot of data, and it is choking up our view of the map. So let's make this a little bit more manageable. So we're going to go to all items. Okay. So we're going to go to all items and click on the paint can. And let's click more icons and choose this little tiny dot instead of the location pin. We're just going to change it to that little tiny point and then click OK. All right, and then we can change the color of it if we want. Let's make it yellow, easy to stand out. Doesn't really matter. I'm not going to care what color you make it. Okay, now if we close it and go back to our map, this is much more manageable. It doesn't cover up all the stuff on the map, and you should start to see a pattern. Okay, so you should start to see a pattern here, and it'll be really obvious when we start turning on our other layers that we have finished. Okay. Now you can look at your final map either like this, or you can preview it so that you can see the map and data as someone else be looking at it. It makes it a little easier to navigate. But either way you want to look at it, you can now scan around and look at the data layered on top of each other. And you can use this view to answer the 5 questions at the end of this assignment. Okay, so should be quick and easy to add your data to it. Use your final map to answer the 5 questions at the end. There is a bonus section to this, so I'm going to make a separate video on how to organize and create the data layers that are in the bonus. And that's where we're going to stop right now.